Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yasmin Najmuddin, and I just first want to say that it truly breaks my heart to see all the devastation going on in Palestine right now, and I think that we should try to find a way to spread awareness in any way that we can. And for me, that's music, and this song is called We Will Not Go Down. Blinding flash of white lights lit up the sky over Gaza tonight. People running for cover, not knowing whether they're dead or alive. They came with their tanks and their planes, with ravaging fireplace, and nothing else remains, just a voice rising up in the smoky haze. We will not go down in the night without fire. You can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. Women and children alike, murdered and massacred night after night. The so-called leaders of countries debated on who's wrong or right. They came with their tanks and their planes, with ravaging fireplace, and nothing else remains, just a voice rising up in the smoky haze. We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up the mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin, for that.
You guys have friends in Gaza?
No, it's a human thing. I don't have any friends there, but it's out of principle. It's immoral what's going on there. So I'm actually from Chile.
The world needs to pay very close attention to this and to stand up for Gaza. It's exactly like 1939.
It's a humanity issue, right? We got to
It's
get
a
it together.
humanity issue. If we can't take a stand for these people that are suffering and so cruelly being shot in a barrel, then we don't count as humans. It's only civilized to do this.
Hello everyone, I just want to make a quick announcement. We're doing chalk drawings on the ground here. Just you go head over to that table and you can get a piece of chalk, and what we're doing is we're drawing figures of people, and we're writing down the names of the people in Palestine, one name per figure that have lost their lives.
Go like
I can.
Do you guys have anything to say for camera? Or about your signs? What brings you out here today, besides the obvious?
Good color.
To raise our voice and spread the awareness about what's going on in Gaza.
Because what's going on in Gaza isn't right, and it's not a war, it's genocide. And they should stop killing innocent people for no reason.
I agree.
Well, I'm glad you guys came out. Can I take a look at your sign?
That's why.
God.
Peace on earth. Peace on earth. Peace on earth.
Do you have friends in Gaza?
My mom's family.
We're all one.
Why
Yes.
is this so much? It's a humanity issue, isn't it?
It is.
I agree.
You know,
We're all
when it comes
one.
to kids and
I know, it's horrendous. what's
innocent people
happening.
dying for no reason, we're all against it.
Absolutely agree. Thank you. Do you have any friends over there?
I don't know. No. My mom and my dad were born in Haifa, Palestine.
Okay.
And yeah,
I traveled all around there in the 80s.
yeah,
It's kind of bad there too, but nothing like now.
no.
It's different now.
They're using their amount of weapons that they have, and they're using it on these civilians is uncalled for. Uncalled for.
Well, it's genocide. It's against international law, and I don't agree with any.
You talk about Hamas section, you're totally right. It's against the law.
Well, either side, but Israel is taking over.
Can I
the
ask you
land,
just one question?
You know?
Just one question.
Can I finish?
Sorry.
I understand why Hamas was elected,
You understand?
but I totally understand. Hey, when your land's been taken away and the bulldozers are coming in and you're taking it, your land, you know.
Okay, the assumption is wrong because we have disagreement, but it's okay. You know, it's happened. I don't believe it's their land, but it's okay.
Well, I believe it's all of their land, but to take it and give it to one group.
It was given to two groups, but the Palestinians didn't agree to share this land with us. But the Palestinians didn't agree to share this land with us.
I don't think Hamas is a terrorist organization. I think Hamas I think my opinion is that they're resistant fighters. That's my opinion. When the Israelis, they have this saying that they say that, how do you think if Canada or America was ever hit by its neighbor, what would happen? The problem is Canada or its neighbor does not occupy any land. Israel occupies land. So how are you supposed to oppress and not have the people to defend themselves, to defend the hopes of their dreams, of their lands that was taken away from them? It's inhumane. And then to hit UN schools on top of that.
Can I give you my point of view as an Israeli, by the way? So obviously I'm biased,
Where are
right?
you from?
I'm from Israel, from Holon, which is a city near Tel Aviv.
It's in near Tel Aviv?
Near Tel Aviv. Now, my point of view, from my perspective, one thing that right now happening, it's a simple thing. There is Israelis and Palestinians. The Palestinians are inside Israel, which means that part of Israel we gave to the Palestinians. In 2009, we hid outside totally from Gaza Strip, and we hope that they will have their own economic and everything going to be okay. But instead of that, Hamas regime just gets stronger, and all of these monies, by the way, was devoted to make tunnels toward Israel, try to kill us.
Like the people in Palestine, like, do you think that they understand what Hamas is?
I think they do, and I honestly really think that they support them. They do support them right now. Just because a nation like America or Canada condemns Hamas and calls them a terrorist group doesn't mean that they really are terrorist groups. There's a lot of things that me and you probably don't agree with Stephen Harper. So it doesn't mean that I have to agree with Stephen Harper on this one. They were elected. They were right or wrong. Weren't they elected by the people of Gaza? They were elected as a group by people of Gaza. And just like how we don't like the, if I don't like the conservatives or the liberals or whoever the case may be, what's the difference? They are a government. They were elected. They're in power. So you have to accept them. Talk to your enemy. Don't close it.
It's like here, like most people don't really get the benefit of our government.
Exactly. Exactly.
The people that I've talked to, the know people there, they kind of like the Hamas is sort of a non-relevant thing.
Yeah.
Like for us, Justin Trudeau, not relevant because we don't feel like that.
Yeah, exactly.
If you think about it, $3 million cost each and every tunnel. Times 30 tunnels they found just till now, how much is it? 90 million? 90 million. If you give that to the welfare of the Palestinian,
Right now,
what you can do?
right now, there's a situation where children are being killed, elderly. That's against international law.
I will ask you a question. If we haven't had Iron
There
Dome,
is
if we haven't had the Iron
Dome.
Dome,
Can I finish?
Sure, sorry.
And if when Hamas fires their rockets, that's against into a residential area, which they're doing.
Yeah.
That's against international law. That's my belief. I believe that through negotiation and through discussion, then you might be able to get somewhere. Because if this keeps going on, just more children and civilians are going to die on both sides. So when does it stop? When does it stop? So when does it stop? How does it stop? All wars and all killing has always started with negotiation, not with rockets. And the rockets are coming from both sides.
okay, so you're done with your...
Yep.
Okay. So let me show you my point of view and you tell me what do you think about that. If Israel wouldn't have the Iron Dome, you can imagine yourself the casualties that we have. If we think about from the beginning of this operation, almost 3,000 rockets was launched toward Israel. And by the way, they didn't have a sophisticated, weaponry. They didn't know where they're aiming for. Because if they have for sure, they were aiming for sure for citizens. Because this the whole idea behind Hamas is just against Jewish people just because they're in Israel. Because they believe it's their land. We believe that it's our land biblical. Okay, biblical right.
They say that they're not. They say Israel says that they're not occupying Gaza and that they withdrew in 2005. If you don't occupy a state or if you don't occupy land, then you don't occupy their air, you don't occupy their borders, you don't occupy what goes in and goes out. They're making Gazan children have the diet. That they're allowed certain amounts of food to come in and to come out. And you're talking to me about money? Of course they're going to need infrastructure. Hamas is a government. They're going to need infrastructure. They have social programs. They have other programs. That's the issue, is that people, they've educated us to think that this is a terrorist organization and that's it and that's all. We have to put a line on them. But they are a government that was elected by the people, for the people, and that's who exists today.
We're talking about an Israel, which is a country that tried to hurt a terrorist group and regime named Hamas. You agree with me on that? This is right now what's happening. The idea behind the operation. But when we're trying to hurt Hamas, when Hamas hiding inside civilians, okay, when try launching rockets from civilians area, from kindergartens, from hospitals, you expect us to do what? To sit in the back and wait for one of our Iron Dome that will miss one of the rockets and then our kids will die?
You've got some awful
Wait a second, I didn't finish.
Good technology, right?
I didn't finish to say what I want to say, and I heard you almost all the way. So that's what I believe, and more than that, I don't like any casualties of uninvolved population. Basically, every Palestinian that have no part with Hamas that died, I feel sorry for that. Don't get me wrong, I don't want Palestinian people to die. This is not the idea of this operation. We don't want to hurt Palestinians.
The tunnels,
What do I think about the tunnels?
are they real or?
No. I think that they're real for sure. Why not? Why not? No, you know what? They're probably built by people who've been oppressed and that want out. And they you know what's an issue? You know what really grinds my gears is what they say is that it's the same people who are blowing up these tunnels are the same people, okay, who had Holocaust situation and they were building their own tunnels and trying to get out and trying to cover themselves and trying to protect themselves from bombardment from a piece of shit, excuse my language, Hitler, to do what they did to them. See, they're the same people who had tunnels and built tunnels, and they're trying to bomb our tunnels and trying to bomb and say that there's terrorists going in and out of our country. At the end of the day, it's bigger than that. It's way bigger than that.
Hamas peoples around it, it for sure wasn't in purpose. It was probably, I don't know, intelligence mistake and things like that happened. And more than that, Hamas as a terror group, when it tried to hurt the people of Israel, for sure, we won't sit on the side and wait just because they're hiding behind Palestinian people. Now, I will ask you a question. If you're a citizen of Canada, right?
Yep.
Great. If United States will shoot rockets in Canada, you have the sophisticated in the world technology to defend yourself. You have no casualty whatsoever. Do you think that Canada would sit on the fence and wait for people to die?
I certainly hope not. But
thank you.
I don't think I would be totally encased us firing rockets into a residential area, regardless of if that rocket came out of that area. I would be totally against that as a Canadian. And I really think every Canadian would be against that. It's just something you can't do, and that's why we have international law after the Second World War that countries agreed to.
Now,
killing children and killing civilians that are in the middle is wrong for both parties. It's just wrong.
They're trying to do exactly. They're trying to ethnic cleanse us. They're trying to get rid of us from a long time ago. They were trying to get rid of the. They thought that in 50, 60 years, by then, those people who we took their houses from had passed, and that their kids are not going to think about it. They're not going to move on. They're not going to fight. But no, that's opposite. I have a daughter who's 6 years old, and I tell her that she is a Palestinian Canadian. Yes, definitely. And then she'll know. That's right. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy.
What's your name?
My name is Mo.
You're gonna be famous.
Oh, I'm famous.
Mo?
Yeah, Mo. Mr. Barbershop.
Are you on Facebook?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mo Swice.
So maybe I'll post something in the Palestinian group.
Thank you. That'd be good.
Nice to meet you, hey?
Yeah, you too. You seem like you've inspired people to come out to this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see 1,000 people here. 1,000.
Of course.
We're not all terrorists. Contrary to popular belief, we're all human beings too. You know what I mean?
Take your photos?
Human beings too. You know what I
Take
mean?
your photos?
That is humanity.
This is not a religious issue anymore. It really isn't. It's not a matter of religion or who's read it. It's a humanitarian issue. That's all it is. When you see babies getting
Genocide.
killed, when you have babies it's the saddest day of my life to have to come here today and protest against babies getting killed. That's the way I look at it.
Government supports those babies being killed.
Exactly. That's
Shame on Stephen Harper. That's
shame on everyone.
All of them. I mean,
Shame on all.
seriously. Like, Justin Trudeau needs to grow a backbone. Stand up and
Just
get
like-
something right. Just stop saying one side of the story. And, I was reading about all the money that goes into our military exports, and a good chunk of it is going to Israel.
Of
right
course.
now. And then
Just
they don't
today-
tell us-
just today-
They don't tell us, right?
Just today I
That's
seen
the
a
real reason why they're promoting
exactly.
this. Like, why
Just
are we
today,
talking about that?
Just today, the CNN reported that Israel needed more weapons, and that they refunded. They gave them more weapons. Their weaponry was going down. They actually gave them more
Ammunition
weapons.
supplies, yeah.
Yeah, ammunition supplies. They just gave them more. They upped it for them. So but then if Iran goes and sends weapons by its little tunnels into Israel, into Gaza, that's illegal. There's no justice. There's no justice whatsoever. There's no justice whatsoever.
The word moral obligation, they owe it to us. We are not supposed, it's not a charity case. This is our rights. The world can't stay blind and ignoring this for how long? The Palestinian cause has been 66 years. Now the Gaza siege, blockade, 7 years. Who can take this? Where is the human rights? Where is talking about democracy, equality? As a human being, the world owes us this support.
How are you ladies out here today?
Good. A little depressed, of course, because of what's going on in Palestine.
Do you have friends in Palestine?
No, but just here in solidarity with them.
I keep talking to my friends and they have friends over there, and it's just like there's so many people upset, and I mean, it's a humanity issue. I don't understand why more people don't get it.
It's extremely depressing. It's just so depressing.
This is a big moral failure if they just turn a blind eye for the demands of the Palestinians. We said it's our land, but we say, okay, we're going to even share it. They don't. They want to finish us, and this is will never happen. The Palestinians, they think the old people, they die, and the children will forget. It never. The children will be carrying this torch of freedom until we get Palestine free and just and live in peace.
So what do you think the solution is? That's my question.
The solution is to whatever the international law says. I think there should be a just solution that they have two states with Palestine having its own borders.
Well, the UN keeps coming out and saying to stop, and again today they were saying to stop, but nobody wants to listen. And it seems like we have leaders in our country that are, idiots.
Exactly.
Yeah, more
especially
pro-Israel than anybody
our
else
leader
out
and
there.
Americans.
I was reading today, like the military exports that Canada has is billions of dollars. So why are they promoting it? It's not like, why aren't they promoting the children? They're promoting making money.
It's like they want Palestinians to just be dead, so Israel can get the whole land for itself. Pretty sad.
Thank you. I got tears in my eyes too. It's just like so awful. I just hope that it's over soon, and I just hope we can get more thousands of people up here.
Like that, do you?
I like this one.
People have to stop listening to the mainstream media. It's just all lies. And Harper is the biggest war criminal and liar of all in Canada. We have to take care of him. This way.
And we are calling for an end to the unconditional support of these war crimes by our very own government. Shame on you! We are here to say enough is enough, and that the people have spoken. Stop the killing now! Stop the occupation now! End the Israeli apartheid! End the Israeli apartheid! Stop the killing now! Stop the killing now! Stop the occupation now! Stop the occupation now! End the Israeli apartheid! And today I want to say how proud I am of Edmonton and how proud I am of how the community has come together to stand for the rights of the Palestinian people. I would say there's at least hundreds, several hundreds, if not 500, 600, 700 here today. And there are people from all age groups, from all ethnicities, and from all walks of life. And this has been said many times, that you do not need to be Palestinian or Arab or Muslim to stand for the Palestinian people. You just need to be human. You just need to be human with a heart and a conscience to stand for the Palestinian people. And that is why, time after time, at every rally, we have such a great turnout like today.
It's a sad day when you have to protest for children getting killed. That's all I gotta say about that.
I agree. Well, you're all heroes for being here.
I should have asked her when I ran into her. We did talk for quite a bit. I didn't really talk about that.
And 4 times that have been jailed without charge. Shame on you! This is to put into perspective the brutality of the Israeli incursion and occupation. This very minute, Gaza is being bombarded by air, land, and sea, and whole neighborhoods are being completely destroyed. I'm not sure if you guys have seen some of the pictures, but you can see a whole neighborhood with many houses, hundreds of houses, completely leveled. Before and after pictures are just petrifying. It is terrorism what is going on over there. So hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, those who survived, have been displaced out of their homes with nowhere to go, as there are no shelters in Gaza. The schools have been turned to United Nations shelters, and however, tonight in Gaza, even those United Nations shelters and the mosques and the churches and everywhere else in Gaza, there is no place that's safe. The Israeli regime has repeatedly bombed schools, hospitals, mosques, churches, graveyards. And so when they call these Palestinians, these Gazans, and they tell them, leave your house immediately, we're going to bomb it. Where do these Palestinians go? All the schools are full, and even when the schools are full, they're still being bombed and killed by the tens and hundreds. And in the West Bank is currently on lockdown, with hundreds, if not thousands, of Palestinian youth arrested without charge. The Israeli Defense Force is using live ammunition to murder peaceful protesters in the West Bank who are standing in solidarity with their Palestinian brothers in Gaza, just like we are here in Edmonton today. Is this what Harper calls the only democracy in the Middle East? A democracy that bombs and a democracy that jails Palestinians who are just standing, protesting peacefully, just like we are here today. Is this the regime that we want to identify ourselves with? Stephen Harper has not even called for a humanitarian ceasefire, not even a humanitarian ceasefire, to at least put a pause on the suffering of the innocent people in Palestine. At least to put a pause on the suffering. He has fully and publicly endorsed the indiscriminate killing and onslaught of the Palestinians by the Israeli regime. Shame on you, Harper. It is as if it satisfies him to see the Palestinians being ethnically cleansed from their hometown, from their homelands, just like he did to the natives in this country. Shame on you, Harper. Obviously you can identify with the Israeli regime, robbing people from their lands. I don't even feel safe here in Canada knowing that this is my government's stance towards the Palestinian citizens. I don't even feel safe. They endorse the killing of Palestinians in their homelands. They're going to endorse the killing of Palestinians here, and others will come. I'm sure he does not care. I'm sure. So this makes us complicit. This makes this country complicit and puts the blood of every Palestinian on our hands. And we are here to say, no, Stephen, not in our name. Not in our name. Not in our name. This does not represent Canadian values. This does not represent the peace-keeping country that I have been raised in, that I have lived in, and I can identify with. This is not the Canadian stance. And we're here, and everywhere else, in Canada, in Calgary, Vancouver, Saskatoon, Regina, Winnipeg, every capital, and in Ontario, we're all coming out, and it's going to be coordinated, and it's going to be at the same time, and we're going to be on national television to tell the Canadian government and the Canadian people that we will not tolerate this, and this does not stand for our values. We're here because we organize this because we want you to go home and do something about this. And we can do a lot about this. We can draw these figures so that tomorrow morning when people are walking by, they see this. We can call our MLAs. Do you know who your MLA is? Do you know who the MP, the federal MP representing you is? We have brochures, we have contact numbers, addresses. All the members of parliament, the federal members of parliament are in their offices now. We need you to make that phone call, and we will be organizing visits to these offices to express our concern. These members, like I said many times already, do not represent. These members of parliament, this government does not represent us, and we will vote them out next election, October 2015. We will vote them out. This crowd, and you brothers, and you sisters, and your friends, and every Canadian that has a heart and a conscience that does not want blood on their hands, will go out after today and will tell everybody else that October 2015, we're going to identify who will stand with the Palestinian people and who will not, and we will elect them. And we will elect the Stephen Harper regime out of office. At least call for a humanitarian ceasefire, for God's sake. Shame on you, Harper. And in March of this past year, Mr. Harper went down to my homeland and kissed ass. That's what he did. He kissed ass. And I am going to tell you stories about how the Palestinian people and how Canadians and how Palestinian Canadians are being discriminated against. Are being treated as second-class citizens, just like they treat us in Israel. And this is why the Harper and the regime and the government here.
Now we need to put purpose and direction into this equation. We need to extend our reach out to those not to those who already agree with us, but to those who are undecided and even those who are pro-Israeli. Keep using social media and protests, and do not underestimate the power of a conversation. Wherever you may be, have that conversation. The liberator of Palestine may not be in this crowd tonight, but something you say today or at some time may touch him, and it may make a difference. I leave you with a quote from Margaret Mead, who said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever really does." Thank you very much. Free, free Palestine! 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 Once again, thank you everyone for coming.
Vast number and how it looks like to have this many people die. Times that by 3, and that's how many people have died just in the past month.
It breaks my heart when I look at this crowd and realize that the number of people here does not even come close to match the number of Palestinians killed in the past month alone. Over the past month, more than 1,400 people, 3 times this crowd, have died in this Israeli incursion and the assault on Gaza and Palestine.
These are the names of the martyred in Gaza, and unfortunately, it's not all of them.